All right, we are very excited to be joined again by one of our favorite comedians, one of the best comedians out there. I mean, he's got card games, he's got everything going on, specials all over the place. That is Mr. Jeff Foxworthy. Jeff, we really appreciate you coming on again, man.
Dude, I enjoy you guys so much. I watch you guys almost every day, so this is always
Really?
Wow.
All right,
Yeah.
well, that was a great interview, guys.
All right,
Jeff,
that's
thank you
great.
so much.
That's incredible.
I can die now. Let's
Yeah.
get drunk. No, but no, we really appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on again. But I got to ask you this because, you know, we talk about things off air, obviously, and most of the time it is sports and whatever's going on in Blaine's personal life. But if you're a Georgia fan right now, this just got to be the greatest time ever, right? Like, I mean, you've been in the woods since 1980. Then all of a sudden, Kirby Smart comes on the scene, and it's the golden era of Georgia football right now, especially if you go back to back. Did you ever think that you would see this day?
No, not like this. You know, and and especially like I drove to Indianapolis and went to the Natty last year. I think we talked about that. And you know, you're like, come on, God, 41 years, we've been so close, and I just want to win one. I just want to win one. And then you win one, and you realize, oh, I didn't just want to win one. it's you know,
It's like
Ron
Oreos.
White, well, Ron White used to do a joke about that. He said, you know, once you see one woman's breast, you kind of want to see the rest of them.
Also true.
Yeah, it's
Also very true. Fact check.
basic
true.
logic.
But I just think about it because, you know, there's so many fan bases out there that, you know, they dream about having a chance to go and compete and win national championships, and finally it happens. You know, coming off, obviously, COVID and all the crazy stuff, it's just been such a crazy resurgence. But I got to ask you, Jeff, when that field goal was getting kicked from Ohio State, I know the game was probably a little bit closer than what you thought. It was going to be a little bit closer than what I thought. But before that kick went up, what were you doing? Anything? Was it horror film, hands over the face? You know, were you petting like an animal that got stuff that you killed that was on the wall? Like, what were you doing at that moment?
Yeah, I was rolled up in a ball in my recliner. But this is the thing about being a Georgia fan. You know, is you go back to Aaron Murray in the SEC championship game, and we're on the 5-yard line and time expires and we lose to Alabama. And then you go, you know, to 2017 and we've got Alabama 2nd and 26 in overtime, and Tua completes the ball and it's over. And then the next year, the SEC championship game, Georgia led for 59 minutes of the game. So I was so used, I thought last year flushed that out, but you're so used to coming that close. And I felt a lot of sympathy for the Ohio State fans, because I'm like, I know what this feels like. My brother used to always say, rather than beating you by 100 points, I would rather beat you by 1 point with a score on the last play of the game on a controversial call that the replay clearly shows the official was wrong.
Well, people don't know now. It's crazy. That's how your brother. He's now a mad scientist. So that lines up.
That's the ones that just eat your. If you lose by 100, you slough it off and you're gone. You know, those are the ones that just eat your guts forever.
Yeah, I mean, you honestly would rather get beat by 4 touchdowns than have like the kick 6 happen to you or something like that. I mean, nothing's worse than coming up shorter than a dwarf in a halfway house. But Cone, you're not short. You're legitimately 6'7", and you would be the tallest person in the WNBA right now. What are your questions?
That is pretty short. Jeff, was there a moment there in that Peach Bowl where you had given up? When you said, you know what, it's been a nice run, reigning national championships, undefeated season this year, we're down 14, the Buckeyes were a formidable opponent, and you had given up on the team?
Well, I was reading on the dog vents, and some guy wrote, "Hey, anybody that gave up at any point during that game is a word that starts with a P." And
a patron.
But to be honest with you, and I got, you know, like 3 buddies, including my brother, that we have a little text stream going during the game. And at halftime, I said, hey, we were down 3 to Alabama at halftime in the Natty. This is 1 more point, and we get the ball back. And then we came out, did a 3 and out. They score again. Another 3 and out. And I just kind of resigned myself. I'm like, you know what? It's not our night, man. Things just aren't breaking our way. And so when you've had your heart crushed so many times, you learn to protect it a little bit.
Well, talking about not being your night, I really do wish it was my Michigan Wolverines, facing off against you in the national championship. That will not be the case, though. Heartbreaker. Lost to TCU.
Choking a little bit over here. Choking a little bit?
What do you think about TCU as we head into Monday's game?
You know what? It's kind of one of those things you don't know what to think about. I really thought it was going to be Michigan and Georgia. And then, with a minute to go in the Peach Bowl, I thought, crap, it's going to be TCU and Ohio State.
I know.
But and I got to tell you, I think that first horrible call where Michigan wasn't given the touchdown, and then they fumbled on the one, I just really felt like that kind of changed the whole stinking game there.
Well, Jeff, did you see that they spotted the ball wrong too before that? They were supposed to spot it on the 48 in the other part of the territory going into the end zone as opposed to the other territory away from it, which he'd have caught that ball 3 or 4 yards in the end zone. I mean, look, TCU's got a redhead at quarterback. I don't trust anything coming out from
I don't
that
want to
side.
talk about it, honestly.
Yeah, well, redheaded quarterback and rosy cheeks, so there's like two right there. So.
That's exactly. There's only 2 people I've seen like that: Raggedy Ann and Chucky, and I don't trust either one of them. I actually trust Chucky more than Raggedy Ann.
Do you really?
Twist there.
Chucky kind of gets a bad rap.
He does get a bad
I
rap.
do a lot of stuff as a kid.
I mean, I know he's a toy now. He's a human than a toy. I mean, it's a bad situation. It's really a tragedy. But Blaine, what do you got?
Yeah, Mr. Foxworthy, I'd love to ask. You've been a Georgia fan your whole life. Where do you rank Stetson Bennett among the Georgia quarterbacks? Is Stetson the best quarterback ever to go to Georgia?
I mean, he's not the most physically talented. Stafford's probably the most physically talented, but it's. I heard him debating that on the radio this morning. It's such a hard question because Stafford wasn't surrounded by the group of guys that Stet is surrounded by. Now, that being said, Stet has done it again and again and again in big situations. And even though his play was so uneven in the Peach Bowl, when it mattered most in that fourth quarter, man, he threw some darts. So, I mean, I think he's got to be in that conversation for, greatest Georgia, obviously most successful if they pull this off Monday night.
Well, I think it determines how you determine greatest. To me, that's championships.
Yeah.
Is Tom Brady the most physically gifted quarterback of all time to play in the NFL? No, but he's the greatest quarterback of all time because it's not just about the physical part or the people around you. What I laugh about is when you look at Stetson Bennett in college, people make the same argument for Matt Stafford in the NFL. Matt Stafford didn't win anything until he was surrounded by talent in where? L.A. for the Rams. It's the same argument.
It's funny you talk about Tom Brady being at Michigan. If you just took his college career, you probably wouldn't put Tom Brady at the top of the greatest Michigan quarterback.
No, you put
would at
Denard
the
Robinson
NFL.
in front of Tom Brady.
I mean, you could.
Why? I mean, you almost
Stafford
have
was
to.
breaking records at the Lions.
But still, we're talking about winning stuff, right? We're talking about winning stuff. If Stetson Bennett was out there and throwing for 4,000 yards and running for another 800, and Georgia finished, just beat Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl and didn't win it last year, yeah, they're going to love Stetson. But I mean, are you the greatest? Buck Bellew still won a national championship. To me, I want a quarterback that's going to win national championships. Auburn was a rare case in 2010 where Cam Newton's the best quarterback to ever play at Auburn, and they won the national championship. But Cam Newton, was put together in a laboratory.
I'm trying to think who
not
was
in
surrounded by Stafford
Wuhan.
when he was at college. A.J. Green was there, wasn't he?
A.J. Green was there. I watched him and A.J. Green absolutely light Auburn on fire.
They had another guy, too. I can't remember. his
A.J.
name.
Green was there. No Sean was there.
No, Sean, that's right.
Team, yeah.
Yeah, but Jeff, we wanted to do this as well. We know, obviously, you might be a redneck if what you guys did on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour is one of the most famous things ever. Absolutely hilarious.
What about things like, if you've been on television more than 5 times describing what the tornado sounded like, you might be a redneck.
We thought that we would come up, maybe show you our chops in the comedy game a little bit with you may be a college football fan.
Oh, I like
and we
it.
want you to grade it, honestly, please. I know you're a nice guy, you're a great guy, true alpha, but true grades here. I want to know, and I want to go last, so y'all go ahead.
Okay, I'll start it off here, Jeff. If you have ever yelled that your coach should be fired and given a contract extension in the same quarter, you might be a college football fan.
I like that one.
That's pretty good.
Here, the only suggestion: go up a little bit in the net. You might be.
There we
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a couple here so I can practice.
Now that one's awesome because that is a true football fan.
Yeah.
I'm guilty myself.
Great. If he likes that one, I think he's going to love
I'm
these.
guilty myself.
This is going to be great. It's like the first bite of cake. When
If your primary use for toilet paper is to throw it on tree branches, you might be a college football fan.
There you go.
If you have been invited to a wedding in the fall and your only response was laughter,
Yes.
you might be a college football fan.
There you go. That was good, Cone.
And my last one, if you named your 3 sons Roll, Tide, and Roll, then you might be a college football fan.
I like that.
Saban. Yeah, Ali Saban's right up there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you like that. There we go. There we
it
go.
is.
All right, Blaine.
All right, am I up? All right, check this out, Mr. Foxworthy. Tell me what you think. If you might be a college football fan, all right, if you left your house with 2 holes in it at the end of the game and you won. That's a good one. Personal experience.
personal. That's a personal
Auburn
one.
Oregon National Championship game, there's 2 holes in my wall.
So you
left
put
and
2
won.
holes in your wall.
And
won.
And y'all won.
Yes. Yeah, all right, another one. You might be a college football fan if you'd rather cheer for the Taliban than your rival.
That's
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's you got. All right,
Yeah,
here we
that's all I
go. Moment time. All right, here we go. If your version of a chill Saturday is when your team plays Vanderbilt, you might be a college football fan. All right. If you have ever said a Hail Mary before a Hail Mary, you might be a college football fan. And this is my favorite one. If you think an end around doesn't just happen in a brothel,
Oh, God.
you might be a college football fan.
Oh, that one.
That's really good.
I'll say it for last. So I'm
I'm not
okay.
gonna touch that one.
Yeah. Well, you go to prison for that, Dave.
That's a
no,
Tone, you see how the it just adds a
it
little
really
bit.
Hey,
It
it
does.
sells it from the master himself.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Yes, look. It's like
love
Emerald telling you how to make pizza. I mean,
Golly.
let's be honest.
I love it.
But no, we are glad you enjoyed that, Jeff. But we got to get before we let you out of here. I know you're a busy man. We got to get your score prediction on this TCU Georgia game. Look, you called Georgia being in the Natty. You called. You're batting 1,000 right now.
Yep.
All right, you come up again. You've seen him one time. He's seen you. Make it a curveball first pitch. It's TCU. They got a ginger at quarterback. Your thoughts?
I think Georgia played. I think Ohio State played their best game of the year by far. Stroud did things I've never seen Stroud do. I think Stroud made himself a lot of money.
He did.
In the Peach Bowl. I think Georgia maybe not played their worst game, but they had a couple of bad quarters. I think they get it figured out this week. Georgia 41, TCU 27.
cover.
Just covering.
Just covering.
Just cover. I like that
Spread.
score.
I wonder.
I like
in
that
a national
score.
championship game. The spread's been 13.5.
I don't know. Probably when Bama played Notre Dame a couple. What was that? Wasn't that spread like 20?
Something. I know they covered.
Yeah, it was a murder. But Jeff, man, go ahead.
Covered that one on the opening drive.
Yeah,
they covered
that
that in the tunnel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Why do you think Brian Kelly went to LSU?
Yeah.
He saw one look at what Alabama looked like in that tunnel, and then his guys, and he was like, "They're gonna kill us." But Jeff, man, tell everybody what you got going. Like I said, I know you're a busy man. You got anything dropping soon?
No new specials or anything. I'm working on a bunch of new stuff and doing dates. Now, your redneck joke about if you look at Vandy as a chill Saturday, because I stay booked like a year in advance, and I literally will not book my fall until Georgia puts their schedule out.
That's
and
so awesome.
I'm like going through the fall, and I'm going, okay, I'll work October 17th work weekend because we got Vandy that
That's
weekend.
exactly right.
Oh, man.
I won't work Florida weekend. I won't work Auburn weekend, Tennessee weekend. I won't work that day. I'll work like a Friday or a Thursday or a Sunday. But I set my schedule based upon the Georgia football schedule.
And that makes you a college football fan. Jeff, we really appreciate it, my friend. It's always great to have you on. Cone, any parting shots here?
We really appreciate you coming on. This is a treat for us.
Oh, dude, I love your show.
Well, we really appreciate that, man. Coming from you, that's obviously high praise. My work here is done.
Hey, you know, go whip their ass in the national championship. Bring it home.
Yeah,
Go
really
Dogs.
Yeah, go Dogs.
All right, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Yeah, y'all take care.
YouTube, appreciate you joining us. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on all social media. Turn that notification bell on so you can know when we know that we're going live.